Hello my YouTube friends, I'm back from the way home. Today we're going to be preparing some grandma's homemade old-fashioned donuts. My grandmother used to make these donuts all the time for us kids, and I'm telling you, when the house started smelling like grandma's cooking, we were right there by the oven, running there waiting for our delicious donuts, and they were amazing. So I'm going to take you along here with me, and we're going to meet in the kitchen. Mom's resting today, so it'll be me preparing these. Come along and join me. Thanks.
What you do is you take 2 eggs. Just plop them in a bowl, basically, and you mix them really well. You make them nice and fluffy. That's how you start it out. And then what I'm doing is I'm adding some buttermilk. Okay, this is 1 cup of buttermilk to the eggs. That's what makes it nice and yummy, is the buttermilk. A lot of people also use heavy cream. Now I'm going to take a cup of sugar and I'm going to gradually add the cup of sugar as in blending. What you want to make sure is you want to make sure it's not quite come to a peak, but to a consistency of making a scrambled egg. And you're welcome to use brown sugar if you want to. I mean, a lot of people use white sugar or brown sugar. And you also can use Splenda if you're diabetic or if you can't have that kind of stuff like that. So we want to make sure safety before anything else, right? So as I continue to blend it, make sure all the sugar particles are broken up down there. Next thing I'm going to be adding, I have a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of the Himalayan salt, and we prefer the Himalayan salt because it's more natural. We like the Himalayan a lot better. You stir that in, and then I have a teaspoon of baking powder and a baking soda. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure it all goes in that bowl. After this, what you do is you add about a teaspoon of vanilla. And then you add 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You continue to blend it. What really makes these donuts pop is the flavor of the nutmeg, the cinnamon. Some people even use allspice, but I didn't use allspice because that's not Grandma's recipe. We don't want to take away from Grandma. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to add just gradually in your flour, maybe a half a cup each, and you have to make sure you blend it in really well. Make sure you get it off the sides of your bowl because it sticks to the bowl. And you don't want that to happen here. Well, that was a little bit more than a half a cup. It's about a cup. But that's all right. It's all good. It all goes in the same place, right? Okay, so continue to blend it. As you see, we're starting to form a little bit, a consistency like a cake batter. And as you continue to add your flour, because what we're doing is 4 cups of flour. I forgot to mention that. And this is what we're using. We want to get a dough consistency. All right, so now we're starting to look like a pancake batter, which is actually really good. Scrape it on the bowl. Boy, that smells delicious, man. Wow, I didn't mention this. Preheat your oil. Keep it on low because you want to have it very hot by the time you're gonna be popping your donuts in the hot oil. This is getting to be a little tough here to stir in a little bit. Now you see this? We're gonna cake kind of consistency. And I'm just gonna add the rest of that flour in there and stir it up. Boy, talk about getting some muscles. This will definitely help you for your biceps, for sure. All right. You keep doing that, you'll get a workout. All right, I should have used a different spoon. Get up there. Okay, you see this batter texture? This is what you want right here. That is your donut. Now I'm gonna blend it all in. See this? That's what you want right here. All right, I'll be back. We're going to put all the donuts together. I'll meet you at the table.
Okay, I'm back from the way home. This actually sat for a day. It was the dough that I'm going to be making them with. After I kneaded it, I sat it in the refrigerator for one whole day. So now I'm going to knead it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it. I'm going to put a little bit of flour. And I'm going to roll it up. Okay, we don't want them too thin. Okay. I have a recipe on how I did the kneading, and what you want to do is you want to let your dough rest. You want to let it set. Because if it sets, then you're going to get a nice firmness out of your donut. It's not going to be, you know, it's going to be nice and fluffy. And you don't want your dough too thin. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm rolling it out here, back and forth, motion, and side to side. It's a little hard still because it was refrigerated overnight for a whole day. But boy, that's going to be a nice donut. It's about 1/4 inch thick, and I don't have a dough cutter, so I use the next best thing. I use caps. Okay, so what you do is you push them, and you just kind of give it a little twist, and then you pull back and see your donut. There's your roundness. And let's do another one. Twist. Like I said, they're pretty cold still. You're probably wondering, where's the hole? But I got one for that too. But see, there's a nice sized donut, and it cooks really thick. And I'm going to fry them up, and you'll see what they look like after I'm done. Let me find my little gadget here. Okay, and this is what I poke my middle with. Just go in the middle and pull out the hole. And this is what you got. It's a pretty big hole for a donut, but you know what? Hey, they do, right? They're home donut. They're not professionalistic. They're perfect for something to do with your kids or something to do for the season, you know? And these are your old-fashioned donuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just finish up here doing my donuts, and I will meet you back at the fryer. Talk to you later.
See the goldness on it? This is how you want your donut. That is a donut right there. This is old-fashioned donuts. This is how they made them in the olden days. I don't know how they make them now, but this is how we made them in the olden days. How Grandma used to make them. So we're gonna let this cook up, and we're gonna be back. And I have a few more I gotta cook up, and then I'll show you how to flavor them. Okay, meet you back then.